Yo, what's up? Another knife collection video, but this is not my collection. This is the collection of Blade Lock, aka good friend to Startup Survival. So it's always cool to see a knife collection video, right? And now we get to see somebody else's collection, so let her rip, man.
Okay, so I'll start by stating the fact that over the many years of collecting knives, I really decided to trim down my collection to the essentials to really appreciate what I actually have. And I trimmed it down to two major brands, Spyderco and Cold Steel. And then there's a few special knives that are unique, that are like offshoots, that are like appreciated. But let's get into the knives themselves. So Spydercos make, for me, the best sort of EDC work, EDC knives. They're not tactical, they're not gentlemen either, but they're the ones I carry for work or when I need to do something with them. So let's start with a very popular one, the Delica. This is a brown Delica, full flag round. It's a very nice knife. Like, I'm surprised. I resisted this knife for a very long time, almost because it's such a staple knife. Like, it's so popular. It's like an AK-47 of Spydercos. That I kind of resisted it as being a very boring knife for some reason, but now that I have it, I'm very impressed. It's a very portable knife, it's very light, it's very capable. If it was any different, it would be a worse off knife than what it is right now. So this is pretty much as good as it gets in this specific configuration. I would change a few things, but nothing major.
I think it's a perfect knife. And I was not passionate about it when I bought it. That was the second knife that I bought, really, that I consider to be a real knife. And it was presented to me as my first knife as an option. And I said, no, I want the Tenacious. They're both great knives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
would think this is a step above the Tenacious, and it's also represented in the pricing of it. Steel, locking mechanism is superior to me. So anyway, Spyderco Delica, first Spyderco, very similar to that. Very similar, a lot bigger, a lot harder to carry. This is not really an EDC unless I actually want to make some really serious work. This was a gift by Startup Survival, very appreciated. It's a very nice knife. It's a bit intimidating in a way, I think, because it's a lot of unnecessary blade length on it. You know, it's not very EDC. As much as I like it, I can really see all the DNA of this is into this one. I don't know which one came first, but you can see like very similar features. Same pocket clip, same material, same design, just different size, different thickness. It's one of those Mini-Me and Dr. Evil kind of things. So I like both, but they lend themselves to different uses.
If I was intending to do a lot of cutting that day, I would choose the Endura because it's going to be more comfortable and capable.
Like bigger handle, easier to handle. You don't have to stress your hand with it.
But how many of us cut stuff all day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For most of us, the Delica will be more practical. And I can say from my own experience, I carry the Delica much more often.
Yeah. So this is a better EDC. This is more. I don't know if this is more tactical or more hard use or not. I don't know what it is exactly. It's just a bigger version of that. Now, moving on, very popular knife, a knife I really like a lot, is the Paramilitary 2. Always sold out. Like, if you look at the stores, this is sold out. Whatever combination, black and satin, digital and satin, is just not there. It gets sold out very easily, so it's so popular. It's possibly one of the most playful knives that you can have. It's just, I don't know. You guys know about it, there's no need to, like, you know, over-explain it, but it's nice enough that I bought two versions of it. This is a bit more, this is newer, it's not broken in as well as this one, but it's a very lovely knife, very successful. Everything about it is just about right, it's just perfect. Like, you know, the size, it looks beautiful when it's open, all the lines blend in together. It looks beautiful when it's closed, everything blends in together again. So it's a very enjoyable knife for sure. It's not as easy to carry as a Delica, but absolutely a winner knife. It's a very good knife. I can't say enough about it. Obviously, digital. I'm fascinated. I don't really. I do appreciate the skills that the military have, but I don't want to be a military person. I don't care for digital for military purposes. I just like it visually. I don't know what else to say. I like orange, and I don't know why I like it, but I like it. I like digital the same way. I don't know why, but I don't have to explain it. Anyway, 2 paramilitaries because I like them so much.
Something that I'm thinking about as I'm looking at this, and I have the privilege to just sit back and kind of like chime in with color commentary. Both of these are advanced iterations of an original design, and that's why Spyderco is amazing. They're not afraid to change a design and improve it. This is a paramilitary 2, Endura and Delica 4. You know what I mean? Like there's all these earlier versions and they've been refined into the most modern instantiation of that. And that's a reason why I think Spyderco is a great company.
There's an evolution for sure. Like they're not afraid to evolve.
Yeah.
Don't want to bash anybody in particular. Sebenza, been around for 20 years, nothing changes ever. Beautiful knife as it is, but where is the evolution in that?
Totally.
Anyway, don't want to get on a tangent. Next and last Spyderco within the sort of EDC work line of knives is the Sage. If you ever wonder about titanium frame locks and you want a really good titanium frame lock for a fraction of the price of the real ones that you are wondering about, then this is the one. This is the Sage 2 in titanium. It's a good knife on its own. It's a good knife to see what's it like to have a titanium frame lock. And yeah. And by the way, it's amazing marketing strategy on behalf of Spyderco. Any other company that goes around and takes different locks from different companies and uses them, they're stealing them. Spyderco comes in and will say, let's celebrate your work. Let me use your lock on my knife and let me sell thousands of them. And I'll celebrate your frame lock, Mr. Chris Reeve. Really good strategy.
It's possible that in the last few years this has outsold Sebenza. I don't know if that's true, but it's a distinct possibility. And there's no compromise there. The materials are identical, or on the same level anyways, as the Sebenza.
S30V to S30V, titanium to titanium, frame lock to frame lock, very successful pocket clip to okay pocket clip. It is Spyderco, like it has all the general features, the sort of, I don't know, natural, or I don't know what you call this kind of curvatures, but ergonomic perhaps. So it is not, how can I say, it is not an imitation of a different knife. Earlier we talked about the ZT561 or whatever being a copy of the Hedger XM18. This is not a copy of anything else. This is a true Spyderco knife on its own right. It just uses materials and a locking system that is reminiscent of other knives. Again, last, very valued, very appreciated, a lot of good things. Perhaps, well, surely the most expensive knife in the Spyderco collection. I do have other knives. I don't know if I have any other Spydercos that are not here. I had a Tenatio and I busted it up and threw it away. So Tenatios will not get back into the collection. What else do I have?
Dragonfly.
I have a Dragonfly, but that is a gentleman collection. That's a different collection. That's a different lineup of a collection, so we'll not do that right now. But that's the Spydercos, and they're all successful, they're all great knives, and that's the way I like them. I used to have shitty knives in here. I took them out.
I can honestly say that I own every knife that is here in some version or other, like different colors or what have you. But I think that's the best of Spyderco right there. You've got the sort of like medium value stuff, and you've got sort of the high-end user knives, right? Everything there is a user knife. It's been carried, it's been used.
Yeah.
And they're all great. Love Spyderco. I think that's the cream of the crop right there.
Yeah, it's super easy to carry. It's super easy to use, open and close. They're really good work EDCs. They're not gentlemen and they're not tactical, but they're good work EDCs. So that's the end of this. Let's move on. The next category of knives, the next class of knives that is very talked about are the so-called tactical knives. I don't know what that means exactly. What it means to me is a knife that I'm not afraid to use in a very violent, not violent, but very chaotic scenario, where I don't have the time to concentrate on how am I cutting and how properly my technique is. So I want a knife that I know is not going to close on me. And from all the knives that are out there, I think we can all agree that the cold steels in Tri-Lock, which is a specific variation on the lockback, are the most tough knives that you can get for a folding knife. I would argue, some may disagree, but I would argue that these knives are tougher as a knife than Hinderers, than Striders, and then Chris Reeves, whatever he does, as the ability of the knife not to close on you. That is the strength of the lock. I would argue, and we have seen videos online, 300, 400, 500 pounds. I cannot generate 300, 400, 500 pounds with my hand when I use a knife. I am very well below the safe limit of these knives. So these are my hard-use tactical knives that are very hard to carry because they're big and chunky, but they give you the confidence that if you need to use something in a chaotic, high-stress environment, this is it. So let me go through them. Cold Steel Recon 1, I have to do something about the pocket clip. That's one thing about these knives, you have to work on them a little bit. So I got to do something about this one, about the pocket clip. So this is the Recon 1 from Cold Steel. Very similar to it, but a little bit smaller is the Lawman. Again, Tri-Lock, Cold Steel, Black G10, Black Blade, AOSA 8, all similar thing except for the general size and proportions and ergonomics. A little bit smaller, more EDC-able. Again, I gotta change something about the pocket clip to actually use it. But that's the Lawman. Next, a knife that is actually good to use out of the box, very affordable, cheaper than all these guys, is the Voyager, because it has the Zytel or plastic scales where you can actually put this in your pocket and take it out easily, easier than that. Same strength, Tri-Lock has a blade that is not coated. This one is actually sort of mirror polish finish before I get like grease on it, but very, very successful knife. This one, I got 3 of this knife. All these other ones are single, this is double, but I was so happy about this guy that I got a 3rd one. You have it too. What are your thoughts?
Well, I have all these knives.
Yeah, I mean. So that's a testament to how popular and successful they are if you also have them.
Yeah, we've learned from each other. I mean, we've both learned from YouTube and the community as a whole, but we've also learned through personal experiences of each other. And it's one thing to hear about a knife or receive video, another thing to handle it in person extensively, or perhaps borrow it and form some real impressions. And yeah, I like all those knives. I bought them in the order of, I got the Recon one, then I got the Voyager, and then I was gifted the American Lawman by Blade Lock. So yeah, we've gifted knives, we've shared knowledge and all that stuff. I like every knife that I see here, and they all serve a purpose for sure. I
think I was on a fence, so I was gifted the Recon one by you, then I got the Lawman, then I got 3 of the Voyager because I was so happy with it, and I just wanted to have it. All these they're big knives, they're like 4-inch or something like that. They are harder to use, harder to carry. It's hard to put this in your pocket and forget about it. It's much easier to carry a Delica in your pocket than it is to carry a Voyager in your pocket. Like, you know, there is a difference in size, in weight, in thinness in your pocket. So EDC knife right here, in the Delica, so-called tactical knife right here. So I would carry both of this. Like if we go camping, I'll have this, and I'll have this too. This is the one I use 10 times, this is the one I never use because I don't have to.
It should be pointed out that they make mini versions of all these knives. There's a medium Voyager that's very comparable to a Delica, Mini
Right.
Lawman, Mini Recon or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what cold steel is famous for, but they do exist, right?
They do exist, but again, like you're saying, like if you buy a triad-lock knife that is so popular for its strength, then why would you get a mini? You would want to get something with a good size blade. I do have a small one, speaking of which it is in a triad-lock. This is the it's the Tough Light. It's an excellent knife. It's very successful. I do think about it as a Spyderco though, because it has a Spyderco type of opening hole. It is very small. It's very it's smaller than a Delica. Very easy to carry. It has the sort of shipfoot blade. Warncliffe blade, there you go. I really like this blade, by the way. We can make a whole video about just this type of a blade and why I think it's successful. But this knife, I don't consider it to be a true cold steel, at least in my mind, because it is a small knife. It is a work EDC knife, and it's hard for me to see myself taking advantage of the triad-lock strength, a strength that it has over a conventional lockback knife. So this is more of a Spyderco in my mind. That's how I perceive it, even though it's made by Cold Steel and it's a small successful knife. But this is what they're known for in my mind. This guy is very good knife, but it's more of a Spyderco. I would put it here if anything. And it does look like a Spyderco, right? Lockback, spider hole. So yeah. Anyway, EDC Tactical. The most successful brands I found overall. I have not gone into Benchmates. I just don't really like them that much. I know they're successful. They're playful, but I don't do them yet. What I did find is that there are some other brands that they do make some randomly successful knives. One of them is the Opinel, traditional wood handle, two-handed knife to open, two-handed knife to close, but I like it. I do use it from time to time. I do appreciate it enough that this is part of my collection. So this is a one-off knife. I find it very successful. It might be odd to some people, but I personally like it. The next one is Ontario Rat 1. Again, one-off from Ontario. I don't own any other knives from Ontario from this company. I will probably never will, but this specific knife, designed by Essie or previously Rat, I think is very successful, very affordable too. So that's exceptional. Next one, Bird Caracar, very similar to Spyderco, very comparable to the Endura, maybe a poor man Endura, I don't know. One thing that has as an advantage, the Bird, is a finger choil. In the Endura, Delica, this place right here is wasted space. There's nothing that happens here. It's just useless. In this one instead, it's a finger choil. Very successful. Lower materials, lower fit and finish, but that finger choil gives it an advantage over the more expensive one. Everything else though, it's just very, very similar. You own both of these too, don't you?
And I've done a video comparing those.
Okay.
I was very passionate actually about the Bird Caracar too. I took that knife to Mexico with me for 6 months with a Tenacious. Those are my only two folding knives, and I learned to appreciate them more. And at the end of the day, I was carrying the Bird Caracar 2 much more than the Tenacious. It's lighter, it's got a longer blade. Yeah, you don't lose anything. It's not a comparison video, but
Tenacious, yeah.
Super high value, and I think it's cool. It is a Spyderco, you know, with a different size, a different shaped hole or whatever.
Yeah.
Everything else is just as good, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, even this one, the Bird Caracar is considered to be a Spyderco kin of knife, so it kind of falls within this category of Spydercos right here. This one, even though it's made by Cold Steel, is really, again, it has the DNA of a Spyderco. You know, the lockback with the opening thumb hole. So this to me is a Spyderco. Again, another very good use of a finger choil right here. So this is a Spyderco. After that, 3 Cold Steels, very similar, and then some odd knives. One odd knife that I haven't put up yet is the K-Bar Dozier. Very very successful knives in my mind. You know, it's very simple, single material, no liners, AUSA 8, very simple lines, very ergonomic, lock back, which I like a lot. I find it to be a very successful knife. Again, let's go like this. Beater knives, tactical knives, EDC knives. That's simple. I have a whole bunch of other knives that I consider to be garbage knives that are just out of the way.
Yeah, we both owned Kershaw and SOG and I don't know, CRKT.
Yeah.
And I don't know, yeah. I've got my 3 favorite companies, Cold Steel, Spyderco, Benchmade, which is not represented here. But I like all these knives as well. I mean, this is still Spyderco technically.
Yeah.
I appreciate the history and stuff of an Opinel knife. Is this the one I gave you?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe one day I'll come back to Opinel when I'm in a different frame of mind, but cool collection. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.